Marty! You've got to come back with me!
Where?
Back to the future!
We had never designed the first Back to the Future to have a sequel. The flying car at the end was a joke, and it worked as a great joke and a great payoff. Everyone assumed that we had this grand design like George Lucas did about Star Wars to have all these sequels. My only hope for Back to the Future ever was that it would make its money back. Obviously, I wasn't designing the movie for a sequel, because if I was, I never would have put the girlfriend in the car, because that became a gigantic problem in writing the sequels, and I would have only had the Doc and Marty be in the car. Then I could have put them on any adventure. But what happens is that when you make a movie that's this successful, it becomes a piece of real estate, it becomes a franchise. And the reality comes at you very quickly, which is we're making a sequel, and you guys can either help us or not, but the sequel is going to be made.
The world's most famous time travelers are on a mission, 30 years into the future. But they're about to discover that getting back is only the beginning. Steven Spielberg presents a Robert Zemeckis film. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Back to the Future Part 2. Rated PG. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Now, pick up your copy of the first Back to the Future. Available on video cassette wherever videos are sold for just $19.95.
Dearest Mother, for some goddamn reason I'm writing you again to let you know that my months-long adventure where I discuss Back to the Future Part 2 every day is coming to an end. And if you were wondering, yes, that was me sitting in the Kia outside your home today, typing away these words on my laptop. I bet you didn't think I owned a car, or a computer, or knew where you live. Well, I do. Father still talks to me, you understand. He'll write me, or sometimes he'll leave frantic phone calls in the middle of the night. Do you know what it does to a person to hear fear in their own father's voice? In the words of your favorite Jaleel White character, did I do that? No, you did, you wretched demon. Anyway, I am outside writing these words because even though you are mostly a hellspawn sent from the seventh layer of Hades by Beelzebub himself to bring havoc, pain, and various STDs into this world, you're still my mama. And, Mama, I wanted you to know that I did it. Another 31 podcasts in 31 days. Another successful MARCHY McFLY. And perhaps another cry for help from a young 49-year-old boy to the old lady who hatched him. I just wanted to say, I love the idea of you, and for the last time this year, happy MARCHY McFLY. Your court-approved legal son, Michael. March 31st, 2026.
First, let me assure you that I'm alive and well. I've been living happily these past 8 months in the year 1885. The lightning bolt... 1885! September 1885!
Wait, Ken! Wait a minute! What's this all about?
He's alive! The Doc's alive! He's in the Old West, but he's alive!
Yeah, but Ken, you all right? You need any help?
There's only one man who can help me. Doc! Okay, relax, Doc. It's me. It's Martin.
No, it can't be. Just sent you back to the future.
Oh, I know you did send me back to the future, but I'm back. I'm back from the future.
Great Scott.
Doc! 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 Oh. Yes.
Marchy McFly, Marchy McFly. Year 6 of Marchy McFly. Ready or not. Year 6 of Marchy McFly. I'm back, great Scott. It's year 6. 31 straight days for you. In year 6. It's back to the future part 2. Every day. Gonna have a little talk of Marty and Doc. Marty and Doc. Marty and Doc. Marty and Doc. Marty and Doc.
The last day. It is the last day of Marchy McFly 2026. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy friggin' finale day. It is March 31st, which means it is the 31st day of Marchy McFly. The 31st day of Marchy McFly 6. And for the 31st and final day in a row, I am here talking Back to the Future Part 2 to you. And I pretty much open almost every episode where I say it is the 31st, it is the X amount of day of Marchy McFly, X amount of day of Marchy McFly 6. But to be completely honest, it is the 31st day of Marchy McFly 6, but if you add up all the Marchy McFlys together, that's 31 episodes a year for 6 years, plus the bonus for the Back to the Future musical, the episode that Eric, he did show up for. Actually, did he? Wait a minute, because I swear he was there for the musical, but the recording didn't work. So that one's on me, Eric. That one's on me. But if you add all of those together, you get, and I did the math because it's 31 times 6. So if you do 3 times 6 is 18. But if you do 30 times 6, it's 18. Add the 0, 180. Then add the 6. Then add the 1 for the musical. 187 days of Marchy McFly. 3 movies, 1 musical, a really bad cartoon, and some pretty good comics, and a really bad Nintendo game. And that gives you 187 episodes and counting. And counting. Yes, as you know, you cannot do something like this with a trilogy and not finish the goddamn job. So if I haven't said it before, I'll say it right now, officially. We know. I'll say it. It's been approved by the board of directors. Marchy McFly will return for year 7, March 1st, 2027. 335 days from now, we will start this whole thing again for Back to the Future Part 3. But we're not done yet with Back to the Future Part 2. We still have 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to discuss. We still have minutes 100 to 103 and 20 seconds. And okay, maybe the movie ended with 102 and 24 seconds or so, but I included, to get to the nice round number of 320 every single day, I included I feel like the true ending of Back to the Future Part 2, which was the preview for Back to the Future Part 3, coming summer 1990. That gets you, if you do the whole movie at 3 minutes and 20 seconds at a clip, and I'm talking about from the opening, Universal logo all the way to the end, you finish with the first title card of the credits, which is Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, and Thomas F. Wilson. Of course, the four Back to the Future All-Stars. That it's perfect because you get the end of the movie, you get the preview for the trilogy, which I'm trying to think, if I knew in 1989 when I saw this movie, did I know that there was going to be a part 3 at the time? And I'm also wondering, did I love these movies as much as I do now? There was a certain point where I was like, Back to the Future, they're my favorite movies. And I got the trilogy on VHS in high school at the local BJ's Wholesale Club. It was a four-tape box set, the 3 movies, and of course the Secrets of Back to the Future, hosted by noted kook Kirk Cameron. And I think it was getting that cemented these movies being my favorites, and the first one being my absolute favorite, and this being my favorite trilogy. Yes, I know that may surprise you based on how much I've been pooping on this movie. But I've said it. It's out of love. It's out of love that I even would want to talk about a movie for 31 straight days. Which is funny because there is plans to discuss some movies over 31 days that I don't love, and that will be a lot more enjoyable picking apart. And it'll be like fun with how bad some of these movies are. But that's right here in Geek Mentality. But that's something I'm not going to discuss for a few months. Let's just put it that way. If you think you're probably right. I'll put it that way. But they won't touch the Marchy McFly experience, because I love these movies, even, flaws and all. I love them, and nothing is going to take that away. Nothing is ever going to change that. Even with doing this, it makes me question certain things, obviously, but it doesn't change the joy that all 3 of these movies bring me. And nothing in this movie brings me more joy than these 3 minutes and 20 seconds. I basically played the entire end of the movie in the clip, which was 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So I played pretty much the whole thing. Marty's looking at the letter, and he sees that, I want to let you know he's reading it out loud, which really you'd think would confuse the hell out of Joe Flaherty. You'd think he'd want to be a little private about it. But he says, the letter, it's from the doc. And he says, I want you to know that I'm alive and I've been living happily, which was really nice to see, happily these last 8 months in 1885, exactly 100 years before the original trilogy. Did the letter say September 1st, 1985? So it's like he took, it's funny. I'm going to say right now, he took 8 months to write Marty a letter, but he probably realized, I got to get myself set up. When you realize, or when Doc realizes, his situation, he's like, okay, well, I just have to live my life here, which, he's always wanted to do, according to this movie. He said it a few times, really setting up the third one. But he loves he loves the idea of being in the Old West, so he might as well just live that way happily. And that's pretty much what the letter tells Marty. We don't see that until the next film, but right now it's just I'm in 1885. And again, it doesn't matter if you took 8 months to write a letter. It's going to take 70 years for it to get there. He could have waited, technically he couldn't have. See, oh, that's interesting. If he waited too long, well, I got to write the letter. I got to write the letter, and something happens to him, which we know what happens to him, which kind of is the thing that kicks off the time travel in the third movie. But if he waited a little longer, he would have never written this letter. And Marty's sitting there going like, what the hell? Where did Doc go? And to me, my first thought would be go in the history books and look for an Emmett L. Brown. Look to see if he's out there. That being said, if I was put back, well, I guess it doesn't matter. Like I'm thinking, would he change his name so that it wouldn't be weird in the history books for the 1955 version of himself? You see, yeah, he should have changed his name. I think I'm talking about next year. I'm overthinking this. I'm already thinking about next year. I think we can discuss everything about the Old West next year. But the fact is, that's where Doc is. And it didn't matter that it took him 8 months to send him this letter because it had 70 years to get there. So this is the best. This is the absolute best. Where he's like, he's alive. The Doc's alive. He's like, kid, what are you talking about? He goes, see, the Doc's alive. He's in the Old West, but he's alive. He's like, hey, what's this about? Can I help you with something? And the look on, they nailed this. They friggin' nailed this, where Michael J. Fox looks at him and goes, there's only one man who can help me. I mean, and when they say, who's that one man? Then it's almost like a setup punchline where they cut to that one man and it's Doc 55, Doc from 1955. And he is hanging from the clock. Like, this is the man who's going to help him. So we're going back to, the original movie, back to Doc, trying to get the clock tower wire set so that he can get to Marty. We see Marty 55 in the DeLorean. What I do like is we never see that Marty. They don't cut to Marty driving inside, and I like that choice because that is not our Marty right now. That was our old Marty. That was our Marty from the movie. We saw him do a few things in the movie. We saw him come out, like in the distance. We saw him run out when George punched Biff. We saw him on stage. We saw him walk off over Biff's cronies, but we didn't really focus on him. He was just kind of there, and the main focus, of course, was Marty Prime, Marty 85. Marty Prime, because Marty 85, they're both Marty 85. You know what I mean? So I like that when we are here, this Marty's about to leave. That other Doc is gone. We don't need to see this Marty, and we never do. So Doc slides down the wire. Are his feet wrapped around that wire? Because otherwise, that is amazing that he holds himself up. And he hits the ground. We just see, it's just like the tail end of the DeLorean hitting 88 miles per hour. Time circuit's activated. The lightning strikes. Thank God Doc has gloves on. It shoots down into the wire, passes through the wire. Even though the wire is not perfectly connected, it still passes through enough to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity that is necessary to activate the flux capacitor and send Marty back. And I love this because this is just the scenes from the first movie where Doc sees the DeLorean disappear and the look of awe on his face. Then when we cut back, it shows it kind of shows the wire and the hook left behind. And then now it cuts to, this is Back to the Future 2 Doc, where he gets up and he just kind of I never compared the ending of 1 and the ending of 2, where he goes, I always thought it was just perfectly done. And I thought there was one more cut, but there really isn't. Actually, no, I think we might still be in Back to the Future 1, where he runs down the street, and then it cuts to a version of Doc coming back, just like excited about, you know what? Yeah. Okay. Now we're in Back to the Future 2, where he comes back excited and he looks up, and in the original movie, he looks up and that's it. We go back to, I think we start seeing the movie theater, but then it becomes, oh, never mind. The helicopter, he looks up at the clock tower, and then we see the helicopter. Now we're in 85. Here he looks up at the clock tower, but we don't leave him. Now we see the dun, 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 and the other Marty running straight at him. Just incredible. The reaction, Doc, Doc, Doc. And he's like, whoa. And he goes, what this can't be. He goes, it's me, Marty. I just sent you back to the future. I know you sent me back, but I'm back. I'm back from the future. Great Scott. And then right there, Doc Brown dies. No, imagine then, like, you see Marty. I think I said this. I swear I've said this every time. I did this in Back to the Future Part 2 the first time, where when it pulls back, you see Marty doing mouth-to-mouth and chest compressions because Doc's heart stopped. Luckily, he just passed out. So he'll be just fine. But it is fantastic. He's like, Doc, Doc. He keeps calling for Doc. And I'm wondering, would it have been cool if, see, it couldn't have happened this way, where we see the ending of Part 2, like, we see this. I'm back from the future, and we're shocked too. Like, that would have been, it couldn't have done it. It just wouldn't have had this impact that the first one had, because the first one, let's say they had a sequel plan the whole time. That would have been really cool if they didn't have the roads where we go, we don't need roads. It would have had, like, we would have seen this. I'm back from the future. What? And then it cuts back to, it pulls away, and then we see 1985 version of Marty, and the ending happens all the exact same way, but we're like, wait a minute. Like, they're going to the future. Something must happen in the future that makes Marty here. Like, if everything was planned to a trilogy perfectly, this would have been an incredible cliffhanger for, it would have been 2 cliffhangers, because roads where we're going, we don't need roads, was a cool thing. But again, no one knew, like, oh, that's cool. That's how, they're going to the future. Fun. I wonder if they'd ever do another one. But if they knew they were doing another one, they could have done all that and had this still kind of, not the final ending, have the DeLorean at the end, have this, and people be like, wait, how are there 2? Why are there 2? So what was that one? What's going on? That would have made the buzz even more. Something must happen in the future that causes him to have to go back to the past and get Doc's help again. Or people might have just been confused, because there's plenty of dummies out there who wouldn't even have known what's going on. But just a tremendous, tremendous ending. And when I was done with Marchy McFly, when I thought I was done with Marchy McFly, and I decided to come back for year 4, I did a skit. There was just, if you ever listen to the final episode, the March 31st episode of Marchy McFly 3, which I think I called it The End. It was, the whole thing was the end, and everything I was saying was the end. It was great. Thank you so much. I had the whole thing just kind of pushing to the fact that I was done, and then boom, I did the little twist ending, which was still one of my favorite things that I've ever done. And that was, you can listen to that episode. It's, again, day 31 of Marchy 3. But here, it's just to be concluded. And I love that we get the same logo. Now, obviously, in the original, it didn't say to be continued until we saw the VHS version. Or did they just, like, was there ever a release? I think it was the VHS version that said to be continued. Must have been. But I'm wondering if, when I saw this ending in the movie, did I know we were going to see the preview? Did I know that they made it already? Like, I don't think I even realized they've already made the movie. It's already done. I don't know if it was completely done here, but it looks like most of the principals were shot, because the next thing we see is, for the last 54 seconds, we see Hill Valley, and it pans over, and there's the Old West. So we already know the Doc's in the Old West, and there it is, the Old West of Hill Valley. We see Marty and Doc hugging. We see Marty dressed as a weird cowboy. We see bad cowboys. We don't know who it is yet. stringing up Marty and pulling him along. We see Biff. We see a guy who looks like Biff. We see Doc with a gun. We see the DeLorean. There's dancing. There's fighting. There's shooting. There's a woman. Doc's with a woman. There's ZZ Top. And then we do get almost a little spoiler of Marty dressed as a cowboy kissing Jennifer on the same bench that he left her. I don't like that. I don't like that. Well, there's no bars on the windows anymore. I still don't understand how she's there. I don't like that they included that. In fact, I hate that they included that. It kind of gives it away. Well, he gets back to 1985 and everything's fine. There's not going to be a Back to the Future part 4. This is, I hate that. And then we see some more, go back to some horseback riding. We see some, Native Americans, but in the movie he says Indians. We see a group of Native Americans on horseback chasing the DeLorean in the desert. Fantastic. We see a train. We see guys jumping on a train. Looks like Marty and Doc. We see the DeLorean being pulled by horseback. I feel like this gives away way too much. And then we get an excellent shot of Marty and Doc posing together by the clock tower. And really, Christopher Lloyd's face in that photo is tremendous. And that's the last shot we see as the photo kind of, what does it turn into? Is it a patina? No, is it I don't know. It turns into a orange, whatever old photos, they look orange, and there's the effect. I can't think of what it is. But that's what we see. And then the last image, Back to the Future Part 3, coming summer 1990. Again, this is November 89. And people must have been like, holy shit, we're getting the third movie in just like 5-6 months. This is incredible. And then it cuts away to Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly, Marty McFly Jr., and Marlene McFly. Christopher Lloyd as Dr. Emmett Brown, Leah Thompson as Lorraine, and Biff Tannen, and Thomas F. Wilson as Biff Tannen, and Griff. Now, they don't say that, but yeah, Marty played 2 Martys and a Marty Jr. Biff played 4 Biffs. He played Marty, look at my new magic book. Then he played, Casino Biff. Then he played Old Man Biff. Then he played 55 Biff. And of course, then he played Griff. So wasn't it Ebert or was it Gene Siskel who said this movie should be called Biff? I mean, that's a terrible title, but really Biff was the star of this movie. He kind of was. Obviously Marty and Doc are the main characters, but Thomas F. Wilson stole this movie, owned this movie, and pretty much delivered in every version of every character that he had to play. Even Griff. It wasn't, I didn't like some of the way he read the lines or he said the lines, but that's what he was directed to do because some of his digital implants or his implants were messed up, haywired, something, look at doing the physical one. Some of those things, batter up. I didn't love it, but he gave it all. And at the same time, old Biff is like, something very familiar about this. And that's where you see Thomas Wilson. It's hilarious. And that's it. That was Back to the Future Part 2.
After 30 days, day 31 brings nothing that different. My brain's done thinking of new things. No show tomorrow, last day for fun. 'Cause March is over and it's April 1. This whole damn podcast called Marchy McFly is just a dumb excuse for me to say hi. Can't keep away too long, I'll be back in June. Talking movies, just a podcast misfit I.
So, yeah, I think that's it. I think I nailed it as much as I'm going to nail it. I think I've covered just about everything I could cover with Back to the Future Part 2 and this 3 minute and 20 seconds. Doc didn't die. The new Marty's, the current Marty's there. The old Marty's gone. I think when I went through it, I kind of touched on everything. I hate what they showed in the trailer for Part 3. Some of it was just too much. And it was funny. On Blue Sky, I was in a conversation with someone who had he was making some of the same points that I was saying of how Joe Flaherty, like it looked like he was going to come over and shoot him. And I made a comment that he said, this is from Biff from the future. But I think it would have been better if like, let's say he was a bad guy. And I know this is yesterday, but I still, I think this line would have been funnier if he said, "Are you Marty McFly?" He goes, he goes, "This is from 1985." And he just pulls out a gun. "I have a message from 1985. And it's the gun. Oh my God, that would have been crazy. Or, see, it had to be Joe Flaherty. I don't know if it didn't, it had to be Joe Flaherty if it was Western Union. If it wasn't, it could have been, Billy Zane or something. Or if it's all three of them, or I don't know, something along the lines. But there's just no way that would have happened because they got rid of the, if he sent someone back before they got rid of the almanac, that guy would have disappeared because then that world would have never happened. They could have done something. They didn't have to, but I'm saying they could have figured their way out of it, even if it's not a great way to figure their way out, because they will, they did their best to figure their way out of Jennifer. Again, a couple small things would have made it better, but they could have done something if they wanted it to be like, this guy's a bad guy. But that's not what Back to the Future is. They wanted a big, sweeping, amazing Hollywood ending, and they got that with the letter and, just that there's only one man who could help me. Just like to Rhodes, people quote this movie and quote the first movie, and there's so many great quotes. Back to the Future Part 2, that's the quote. That's the line. That's like the whole thing. There's only one man who can help me. To me, the entire movie, the entire trilogy is based on that. Think about it. The first movie, it's all about Doc helping him. That Doc from 55. The second movie, they go on this crazy adventure. He needs help from who? Doc in 55. The third movie, Doc in 55 is the one who sends him back to save the other Doc who's in 1885. And I can't wait to do this again with you next year. I don't know if 3 minutes and 20 seconds worked out perfectly. We will see what we get for next year, because it's going to be all the way at the beginning and then right until that train flies off the end. That's where we're going to cut it. I don't have to do the full credits, but it'd be interesting to see what the running time is and what each segment will be. You know what? I'm not going to wait a year. Let's look it up right now. Okay, so it says the running time for Part 3 is 1 minute, an hour and 58, but you got to have credits, and I'm not going to show the full credits, so maybe it's an hour and 55. So let's round it to 60 plus 55. That's 115 divided by 31 comes out to 3.7, but not 3.70 seconds, because that would be too much. So 70%. Okay, now we have to do more math. What is 70% of a minute? That would be 42 seconds. So I think it's going to be 3 minutes and 40 seconds, about 3 minutes and 42. That's my guess. If I did the math right, I could be completely wrong in everything I just did. You could be hitting your head going, this idiot doesn't even know how to do simple percentages. And that is true. Unless I did it, then I nailed it. And, joke's on you, buddy. But I think I'm done. I think it's over. It is 10:55. I have an hour and 5 minutes to get this episode out. Otherwise, I will have ruined my streak. And I have, with every Sitcom All You Faithful, Movie Month, Joggist, and Marchy McFly, Now, some of them were every day. Like the point was you had to do something every day. These Marchy McFlys haven't been the case. But I think there's only one I did a day before, maybe two. Every other one I did a day of, usually night of. But with movie month, it is every day. You have to do it every day. You can't do it, like you have to watch the movie, podcast about the movie that day. That's the point. And I've never missed a day of that. And as of right now, I've never missed a day of Marchy McFly. Same with Joggers, same with Sitcom All You Faithful. My goodness. I got to get a life. So it's surprising my wife still marry me. But here's the thing. I still do things. It's just I will work on them very late or very early, and then I'll live my life somewhere in the middle. That's what I did. I went to Florida. I went to Florida at the right before Marchy McFly, and last week I've been in Florida. And I just worked around it. You need me to drive for 9 hours a day? I'll do it. But then I'm going to podcast quietly, outside a gas station in the rain. It happened. You saw it. You heard it. It was there. You were there. I was there. And now you realize, oh my God, he's losing his mind. He's rambling. It's over. It's time to go. Yes, it is time to go. I want to thank every single one of you for the blue sky likes, the comments, the reposts, for anyone who wrote comments on TikTok, for the posts on YouTube, any comments on YouTube, for anything. If you're listening to this, I have to say thank you so much for listening, for supporting, for subscribing, for finding, for liking, for replying. It has been another fun, exciting month. This was Marchy McFly, but it's over now.
This is Marchy McFly, but it's over now. 31 days for a podcast. Only 7 months are this long. And on this last day, it's only fitting that I cram in more dumb songs. Listen now as I say goodbye and go away. It is Marchy McFly, but it's over now. I hope it was good and that you stuck around. This was Marchy McFly, but today it's through. We are done watching back to the future part 2. It is Marchy McFly, but it's over now. I hope it was good and that you stuck around. This was Marchy McFly, but today it's through. We are done watching back to the future part 2. Yeah, it was Marchy McFly, and I hope you had fun. It was 31 days long, and now it is done. This was Marchy McFly, and today it's through. We are done watching back to the future part 2. Whoa, this was Marchy McFly, but it's over now. La-di-da-da-da. This is Marchy McFly, and it's over now. La-di-da-da-da. This is Marchy McFly.
What, you didn't think I was going to end with just that Pink Floyd song, did you? I had to cram one more song in there. Just like I said, it was in the lyrics. Look, it's very meta, very meta. And I'm very tired, so I'm going to leave you now. 31 days, 31 done, 31 in the books. Geek Mentality is going to be going quiet for a couple months, but I will see you on June 1st for Movie Month the 13th. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, the 13th year of Movie Month. I will see you then. But in the meantime, you can follow me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike. The Facebook page, Fans.Experts. The YouTube channel is Fans.Experts. And the website is fansnotexperts.com. This podcast is going quiet for 2 months, but you will hear me on other podcasts. So just go to fans.experts.com to listen to those there. Now, I say this podcast is going quiet for 2 months. It might not. There might be something in between there. So everything I just said could have been kind of a lie. But as far as a month-long extended show, I will see you June 1st. But until then, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for following. Thank you so much for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, everything. And I might have said commenting twice. You know what? Thank you for commenting. We did it. We made it through another year. I will talk to you soon. But until then, remember, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. And here is my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time. And I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.